What's up, guys? Silver here with another Halo Master Chief Collection Achievement Guide. This time
There was only one chip.
One? Are you sure?
Yes. They called it the Pillar of Autumn.
Why was it not destroyed with the rest of their fleet?
It fled as we set fire to their planet. But I followed with all the ships in my command.
When you first saw Halo, were you blinded by its majesty?
Blinded?
Paralyzed? Dumbstruck?
No.
Yet the humans were able to evade your ships, land on the sacred ring, and desecrate it with their filthy footsteps.
Noble hierarchs. Surely you understand that once the parasite attacked...
There will be order in this council.
You were right to focus your attention on the Flood. But this demon, this Master Chief...
By the time I learned the demon's intent, there was nothing I could do.
Noble prophet of truth, this has gone on long enough. Make an example of this bungler. The council demands it.
You are one of our most treasured instruments. Long have you led your fleet with honor and distinction. But your inability to safeguard Halo was a colossal failure.
Hey, it was heresy.
I will continue my campaign against the humans.
No, you will not. Soon the great journey shall begin. But when it does, the weight of your heresy will stay your feet, and you shall be left behind.
The plating was about to fail. There's viscosity throughout the gel layer. Optics, totally fried. And let's not even talk about the power supply. You know how expensive this gear is, son?
Tell that to the Covenant.
I repeat, this is not a drill. How's it going, Malta? Stand by. They're latched. Check your target.
Well, I guess it was all obsolete anyway. Your new suit's a Mark 6. Just came up from Songnam this morning. Try and take it easy until you get used to the upgrades. Okay, let's test your targeting first thing. Please look at the top light. Good. Now look at the bottom light. All right. Look at the top light again. That's it. Now the bottom one. Okay. Tracking looks sketchy. I'm gonna run you through the full diagnostic. The diagnostic software sets your targeting system to be normal. Go ahead and look at each of the 4 lights, Chief. You want me to leave it like that or make it inverted? I'll leave your targeting set to normal. If you change your mind, you can switch the setting anytime. Stand by. I'm gonna offline the inhibitors. Move around a little, get a feel for it. When you're ready, come meet me by the zapper. Hey, take it easy. Careful, you'll tear a tendon doing that. Pay attention, because I'm only going over this once. This station will test your recharging energy shields. Step on in, I'll show you. Your new armor shields are extremely resilient, very efficient. Bingo! As you can see, they recharge a lot faster. If your shields go down, find some cover, wait for the meter to read fully charged.
That, or he can hide behind me. You done with my boy here, Master Guns? I don't see any training wheels.
His armor's working fine, Johnson. You're free to go, son. Just remember, take things slow.
Don't worry, I'll hold his hand. Come on, Chief. They're ready for us on the bridge. Get on the lift, Chief. We're gonna be late. Haven't seen it in years. When I shipped out for basic, the orbital defense grid was all theory and politics. Now look, the Cairo is just one of 300 geosync platforms. That Mac gun can put a round clean through a Covenant capital ship.
One of the things that makes Halo really unique is it's a large and expansive sandbox that a player with
I don't want to keep the brass waiting, Chief.
Come on now! Is that a weapon or a flip? Oh!
Fine. You can tell Lord Hood why we're late.
Hang on, everyone.
Get your shiny green posterior on this elevator. Would it help if I said please?
So, Johnson, when you gonna tell me how you made it back home in one piece?
Sorry, Guns. It's classified.
My ass! Well, you can forget about those adjustments to your A2 scope. And you're sure...
Well, he's in a particularly fine mood. Maybe Lord Hood didn't give him any indication. Earth. Haven't seen it in years. When I shipped out for basic, the orbital defense grid was all theory and politics. Now look, the Cairo is just one of 300 geosync platforms. That Mac gun can put a round clean through a Covenant capital ship. The orbital defense grid was all theory for geosync.
Well, I guess it was all obsolete anyway. Your new suit's a Mark 6, just came up from Songnam this morning. Try and take it easy until you get used to the upgrades. Okay, let's test your targeting first thing. Please look at the top light. Good. Now look at the bottom light. All right, look at the top light again. That's it. Now the bottom one. Okay. Tracking looks sketchy. I'm gonna run you through the full diagnostic. The diagnostic software sets your targeting system to be normal. Go ahead and look at each of the 4 lights, Chief. You want me to leave it like that or make it inverted? I'll leave your targeting set to normal. If you change your mind, you can switch the setting anytime. Stand by. I'm gonna offline the inhibitors. Move around a little, get a feel for it. When you're ready, come meet me by the zapper. Go on, walk around, try it out. Pay attention, because I'm only going over this once. This station will test your recharging energy shields. Your new armor shields are extremely resilient, very efficient. Much better than the Covenant tech we use for the Mark V. Go ahead and use the switch in front of you to start the shield test. Bingo! As you can see, they recharge a lot faster. If your shields go down, find some cover, wait for the meter to read fully charged.
That, or he can hide behind me. You done with my boy here, Master Guns? I don't see any training wheels.
His armor's working fine, Johnson, so shut your chilly hole. You're free to go, son. Just remember, take things slow.
Don't worry, I'll hold his hand. Come on, Chief. They're ready for us on the bridge. Get on the lift, Chief. We're going to be late. I don't want to keep the brass waiting, Chief.
Here you get into the tram. Make sure you're on the side facing
You can tell
north.
Lord Hood why we're
Press
late.
up against the side of the tram and hold the action button, the button you would hold to pick up a new weapon. You'll pick up the skull as it passes you by. The action button, the button you would hold and fire a scarab beam, but note that if you do, it'll deactivate your ability. Can be found on the level of the armory. After you do the shield test and Johnson appears, he'll head back into the elevator he came from, inviting the chief to join him. Hang out outside the elevator. Johnson will start to berate you. Wait until he says,
Would it help if I said please?
Before entering. This can take a few minutes. After the elevator, you get into the tram. Make sure you're on the side facing Earth. Press up against the side of the tram and hold the action button, the button you would hold to pick up a new weapon. You'll pick up the skull as it passes you by.
Coordinated fire from the Athens and Malta. Nothing's getting past this battle.
The Thunderstorm skull can be found on Cairo Station. After you reach the armory, the next room will have the skull. Clear the room of enemies, then use the light fixtures on the
Get your shiny green posterior on this elevator.
One of the things that makes Halo really unique is its large and expansive.
Defense grid was all theory and politics. Now look, the Cairo is just
Halo 2 LASO playlist achievement, which we did 5 years ago, but these are going to be revised guides with better strats, so get ready because we're about to make the hardest LASO campaign much easier than it was in the past. First of all, attention all co-op players. You cannot unlock this achievement by playing entirely on co-op. The reason for this is because when you play on co-op, the game actually starts you off on Cairo Station, which is technically the third mission of 15. So you want to actually start the LASO playlist by yourself, get through the Heretic and the Armory, which is mostly just cutscenes, and then you could join up with your buddy after that to tackle Cairo Stations and then the rest of the missions thereafter. The only time you can unlock this achievement is after beating the final mission, aka the Great Journey, and having all of the other missions completed at that time. If you beat the Great Journey and then go back and play the Heretic and Armory, it will not unlock until you go back and beat the Great Journey a second time, so that would be super annoying. Avoid the pain and suffering by playing solo until you get to Cairo Station, then buddy up. If you're playing solo all the way, then none of this matters to you, and we'll jump into the skulls now. There are 14 in the Halo 2 LASO playlist. The first one is Anger. This makes enemies fire their weapons faster.
Would it
and more
help if I
frequently.
said
There's pros and cons to this, actually, so we'll get into that a little later in this video.
So,
Assassin is the
Johnson,
next skull, which makes
when you
all
gonna
enemies
tell me
permanently
how you made it
cloaked,
back
aka
home in one
invisible,
piece?
but it's actually much
Sorry,
easier to
Guns.
see these
It's
invisible
classified.
enemies. They're not totally invisible, they're
My
just mostly
ass.
invisible.
Well,
It's
you
easier
can
to see
forget
them
about those
on the original
adjustments
graphics.
to your
You can fly
AK.
out. Classic
Well, he's in a
graphics for these
particularly
walkthroughs. I
fine
know a lot of you are like, hey,
Maybe
turn on
Lord
the
Hood
anniversary
didn't give him
graphics,
any
but
indication.
we're playing LASO. We're getting all the advantages we can here, so turn on those classic graphics. And that brings us to the Black Eye Skull. This one means your shields will only recharge when you get kills via melee. So they go up instantly like they did in Halo CE, the first Halo, but you actually need to register the
When I
kill in
shipped
Halo
out
2
for
for it to
basic,
go up, unlike
the
in
orbital
CE when you
defense grid
simply
was
had to
all
smack the
theory
enemy,
and
and it didn't matter if they
politics.
died or not, your shield
Now
would
look,
just go up. This time you actually have to
Cairo
get the
is just
kill.
one of
A perk in Halo 2,
300
though,
GOC
it works not only on enemies, but
That
on
Mac
anything
gun
that
can
has
put around
health, so
clean
whether
through
they're
a
friendly,
Covenant
neutral, or
capital ship.
hostile, or even on inanimate objects that have health, like some boxes, vehicles, lampposts, etc. You
Coordinated
can get
fire
shield
from
back
the
from those
Athens
as well, so
and
very
Malta.
useful.
Nothing's
Unfortunately,
getting
glass
past
is
this
not
battle
included,
force
so
stage one.
you cannot get health from glass. But another benefit of the Black Eye Skull in Halo 2 is it actually allows you to get up to a double
Ships been
overshield,
arriving
so
all
rather
morning.
than just your regular shield being the highest amount
Nobody's
of shield
saying
you get,
much, but
in this game you
there's
can actually
something
get a
big's
double
about to
overshield, essentially giving you 3 shields and your underlying health, whatever that may be. The next skill is blind, which takes away your heads-up display and your weapon. You can't see what weapon you have out. But before you jump into LASO, you can actually create a makeshift reticle for yourself by going to a custom game on any map, preferably one with a sniper though, like lockout, grabbing the sniper, then placing a small square piece of clear tape over the crosshair, and then tracing the crosshair.
You told
onto
me
the
you were
tape,
gonna wear
and that way
something
we
nice.
guarantee the playlist will
Folks
have
need
that tiny
heroes, Chief.
sniper
Give 'em hope.
crosshair, so you can more
So
easily aim
smile.
and kill
But
enemies.
yeah,
But one thing you
well, we
want to
still
note
got
is if
something
you're
to
playing on
smile
Xbox,
about.
the crosshairs are in different places between FPS weapons like the BR, SMG, and sniper, compared to third-person weapons like turrets and other vehicle-mounted weapons. But again, that's something you only need to worry about if you're on Xbox. If you're on PC, the crosshairs should be in the same spot for all the weapons. But you can also tell what gun you have out by looking at your shadow or paying attention.
Drawn quite a crowd. If they came to hear me beg, they will be disappointed. Are you sure?
Gentlemen, we're lucky to have you back. Go ahead, Cortana.
Another whisper, sir, near Io. We have probes en route.
I apologize, but we're going to have to make this quick.
You switch weapon, one you have out by
You
how
look
far you can
nice.
zoom in and also how many times you could zoom in. Obviously with the
Sergeant
sniper you can
Major,
zoom in twice
the
and the BR
Colonial
only
Cross
once.
is
You can
awarded
also hop
for
in and
acts
out
of
to before you're not
singular
shooting at
daring
you, so
and
it's easier to
devotion.
get close to him
For a
and probably
soldier
kill him
of the
with a
United
melee.
Earth
And they're also
Space
dropping
Corps.
more grenades, so that's used half the ammo, the effect on gameplay.
There can be no greater heresy. Let him be an example for all who would break our covenant.
Commander Miranda Keyes, your father's actions were in keeping with the
Celebrations
highest
with
traditions
children
of
screaming
military
yay
service.
as confetti pours out of
His
their heads.
bravery in the
So
face
just a
of
fun little
impossible
addition.
odds
Iron
reflects
is a
great
super annoying
credit
entire
upon
saving
himself
quick point. And your
and
dad
the
needs missions.
UNSC.
So we'll use
The
of the
Navy
player upgrade
has
and we'll
lost
make
one
the
of its
actual
best.
mission. So we're gonna start that. And with all that being said, let's get into it. This is Cairo Station, the first playable actual mission. So we're gonna
Slip space ruptures directly off our battle cluster.
Show me.
15 Covenant capital ships holding position just outside the kill zone.
This is Fleet Admiral Harper. We are engaging the enemy.
Negative, Admiral. Form a defensive perimeter around the cluster. Commander, get to your ship. Link up with the fleet.
Yes, sir.
You have the mech gun, Cortana. As soon as they come in range, open up.
Gladly.
Something's not right. The fleet that destroyed Reach was 50 times this size.
Sir, additional contacts. Boarding craft and lots of them.
They're going to try to take our mech guns offline. Give their capital ships a straight shot at Earth. Master Chief, defend this station.
Yes, sir. I need a weapon.
Right this way.
Alert! Boarders inbound. Alert! Boarders inbound.
Start off by going down these stairs, and we're going to grab a BR and an SMG. You want to reload both of these. When you pick them up, they have a half-empty magazine, so you want to reload both of them, and then just kind of stick around so you can pick up more ammo so you have full ammo. But then you want to come over here. Away from these two smaller boxes that are stacked on top of each other. These boxes can actually be damaged and killed, quote unquote, and you get the shield benefits from Black Eye by destroying these boxes. But I'm just kind of running and trying to hit my legs on the top one so it knocks it off the bottom one. You can see I just kind of clipped the box with my legs as I jumped over them. And we're just going to melee them 3 or 4 times while we're standing on top of them. I found they're much more likely to give you health if you're kind of pinning the box against a wall or under your own weight. You're more likely to get the health from the boxes when you destroy them. So they don't really have an animation that they've been destroyed. They stay the same. They don't look like they've been, hurt or anything. But after 3 or 4 smacks, they should die, quote unquote, and you'll get some overshield from that. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't with these boxes. It's kind of hit or miss. And unfortunately, there's no way to tell.
Orders inbound.
I found that off the bottom one, be damaged, and then just full actual make around so you can pick up more ammo so you have full ammo. But then you want to come over here and knock these bigger boxes away from these two smaller boxes that are stacked on top of each other. These boxes can actually be damaged and killed, quote unquote, and you get the shield benefits from Black Eye by destroying these boxes. But I'm just kind of running and trying to hit my legs on the top one so it knocks it off the bottom.
All hands, report to battle station.
The box with my legs as I jumped over them, and we're just going to melee them 3 or 4 times while we're standing on top of them. I found they're much more likely to give you health if you're kind of pinning the box against a wall or under your own weight. You're more likely to get the health from the boxes when you destroy them. So they don't really have an animation that they've been destroyed. They stay the same. They don't look like they've been hurt or anything. But after 3 or 4 smacks, they should die, quote unquote, and you'll get some overshield from that. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't with these boxes. It's kind of hit or miss, and unfortunately, there's no way to tell if you got the overshield because you can't look at your own shield because you're in a first-person point of view with the blind skull on. But even if you wind up not getting any shield from this, don't worry about it. In no way is it essential that you get shield from this before we continue, so feel free to just ignore this if you want, if you just want to move on to the next part of the mission. But now we're moving into the next section, and you can see I'm using the SMG to take out all of these glass panels, and the reason I'm doing that is because it makes
Alert! Borders inbound. Alert! Borders inbound.
How's it going, Malta? Stand by. They're latched. Check your targets and watch the crossfire. They're in standard formation. Little bastards up front, big ones in back. Good luck, Cairo.
Maneuver a lot of the times. Not for all the different pieces of glass, but for some of these, it's easier to kind of maneuver.
Feel the fire on that.
No glass in the way, because if you're being chased by an elite with a sword, you want to have no resistance. Even a small pane of glass can kind of slow you down.
That door opens.
So you don't want that. Take out all the glass, and then we're going to hang out up here, and we're going to wait for the enemies to bust through that door down below here. And we're going to hang back. You can see the enemies are shooting at our friendlies now. We're just going to hang back here for a few seconds, and then we're going to drop down and go in here. This despawns all the enemies that would spawn and be reinforcements for those enemies that just went in. So we've despawned those guys. Now we're going to double back after waiting a few seconds, and we're going to shoot the grunts, and you could possibly melee and kill the elites from behind because they're distracted. Sometimes they're still shooting at Johnson and the Marines. Sometimes they've drawn...
Orders. Have it. Alert. Borders inbound.
How's it going, Malta? Stand by. They're latched. Check your targets, watch the crossfire. They're in standard formation. Little bastards up front, big ones in back. Good luck, Cairo.
Feel the fire on that bulkhead. As soon as that door opens, let them have it.
Borders and Habitat Alpha.
Swords already, which is what's happening in this case, so I can't really get close behind them safely and melee them. So I'm just going to run around and wait for them to go after Johnson. And when there's two sword guys slicing Johnson, we're going to use Johnson for bait basically for this whole level. And when there's two sword elites slicing him, it's tough to get behind them and assassinate those elites because they can actually kill you on their backswing. So even if we might dodge one of them and assassinate that one, the second guy with the backswing will probably kill us. So that's too dangerous. So you can see here I took out the elite, or one of the elites.
Need a squad in Habitat Alpha ASAP.
Some plasma, and then I just finished him with a headshot. And then for the second elite, I was able to quickly finish off with a backsmack, and you want to make sure that you're timing that right because, again, you can get hit with that backswing and probably will if you don't time it right. So we're going to go over here. We're going to grab a plasma rifle from one of those elites. When they draw their swords, they drop their plasma rifle. So we're going to grab the plasma rifle, drop our BR because we can't grab Johnson's BR if we have one as well. So grab a plasma rifle and any other weapon, and then you could actually exchange for Johnson's BR. And the reason we do that is because Johnson is much more effective with a plasma rifle. So now we have... much more effective with a plasma rifle. So now we have a BR for ourselves and a sword. Those are the two weapons you want to grab for your...
Sealed pressure doors.
And make sure Johnson has that plasma rifle. So you can see here the effects of the anger skull that I was mentioning earlier. They actually make the elites more likely to just kind of get stuck in an animation of firing and waiting for their gun to cool down and then firing and waiting for the gun to cool down. So that's what happened there. And sometimes an elite will hop on this turret here. So if that happens, just kind of follow that path I did, go up the stairs, and you drop down to the side where he can't shoot you. And then
Security Station 4 is under attack.
the turret, which he will do because he's angry and notices you're behind him. And then you could quickly kill him with a back smack. You could see I also meleeed the turret and destroyed that, and thereby got some shield from that. So we should have full double overshield at this point. And then we're going to slice this soda can machine over here. Soda can machine? Machine over here. Soda can.
Orders in Section 7.
It's just a soda machine. And then we're going to move this box. We're going to hit the left side of this box, and that gets it to rotate. So you can hit it and kind of accelerate it a little more than if you hit it straight on. And we're going to kind of wedge this over so it's kind of blocking the path. You can't really get through here now. But then we're going to kind of back it off a little bit so there's a path. And the soda machine here, and then we're going to send Johnson through that gap. They'll just take it. He's invincible, so no worries about him dying or anything. But don't do that. I accidentally hit the soda machine, so I have to go put this back in place again, and then we'll be able to send Johnson through. Sometimes Johnson cooperates more than other times, so it's a little random how he's going to behave for you. We're going to send him through, and as soon as we get him through the gap, we can kind of back up and quickly hit the crate so it blocks that hole that we created. So now...
That was trying to piss me off.
Stuck over there. Johnson is actually scripted to just stay here in this section, and then when you proceed to the next part of the mission, he despawns, and you actually meet up with him later. So there's going to be 2 Johnsons once we get further in the mission. But we're going to take this guy, and we're going to slice him up the stairs. And once we get to the top of the stairs, we want to stop slicing because we want to get the checkpoint at the top of these stairs. And if you're meleeing or jumping, you actually delay or totally void checkpoints. So we don't want that. So once you get him halfway up the stairs, he actually runs up on his own. So you could run back here, get the checkpoint. You can see I waited a couple seconds before.
Ow. Just when you're calm. Rob. Getting rusty. Nice one, jackass. Get the feels, Chief. You are supposed to set an example. We ain't got time.
Again, and you could actually start slicing this box and kind of block the doorway here. He got past us, but fortunately he ran back on his own volition, so we didn't have to worry about slicing him through again. But you can see Johnson is running to the other set of doors over there, which is where we want him to go, so that's good news. Sometimes you have to keep slicing him for a little bit to get him to go down there, so keep kind of pushing him in that direction until he goes there. And we're going to knock these 3 boxes down into the section below once Johnson is over there. So you can see I took out that turret with the BR melees. You don't want to use your sword to melee things because that actually doesn't get you any shield. You want to melee and get your shield up with any other thing.
Attention. We have boarders in Section 3.
So we knocked those 3 boxes down below. We meleeed the turret for shields. There's BR ammo on the wall here. We're going to move over here, and this spawns in some enemies over here. One is going to be a grunt on the stairs, and there's going to be 2 elites down below. And you can see that Johnson is actually firing at these invisible enemies, even though they're technically invisible. When they spawn in, they are momentarily visible until their camo kicks in.
Whoa!
That's why Johnson was able to see this elite and kind of start firing at him. You'll notice that Johnson doesn't fire at a lot of enemies because he can't see them because they're invisible, obviously. So fortunately, when you go over here, if Johnson's here when they spawn in, you will notice them because they're not invisible right away when they spawn. But as I was pushing Johnson forward as a distraction, I heard the elite come up behind me and draw his sword. They always yell and get angry before they draw their sword, so that's a way you could tell. Right there, I got hit by the sword, but I had double overshield, so it was enough to withstand the hit from the sword. Usually you die anyway from a sword swipe like that, so you can see I hit start real quick so I could do the iron workaround, which is hitting start, save, and quit, and then resume once you get back to the lobby. But fortunately, I didn't have to do it. So we have the 1 elite, which is joining the 2 other elites in the main area here.
Oh!
Quick response team to the communications center.
Ow! That's smart!
I need a squad at habitat.
Let 'em have it!
Orders, habitat Alpha. I need a squad at Habitat Alpha ASAP.
Hope the rest of you are taking notes.
Quick response team to security station 3.
Fine by me. Ow.
Field pressure door.
I'll look like an 8-foot blue alien monster. Keep your mind in the fight, Chief.
Was that smart?
Security Station 4 is under attack.
There's another one.
Orders in Section
This ring,
7.
we're never gonna win this war.
Fire team, orders in Section 2.
Get rusty.
Attention. We have boarders in Section 3.
Come on, Chief, you know better than that. Keep your mind on the job.
Fire team to Tram Terminal 1.
All right. You ain't much for brains, are you, son? We ain't got time for this. Hey, you making a sandwich? Well, give me one too.
Quick response team to the communications deck. Alert. We have hostiles on the command deck.
We have the one elite, which is joining the 2 other elites in the main area here. Across the way, there's always 3 grunts over there, and as you can see, there's grunts on this side as well, so you should probably take out these guys entirely before you start focusing on the grunts across the way, but I forgot about that last remaining grunt there momentarily until he started shooting at me, of course. And now we're going to take out the 3 remaining elites, the 2 main elites in this main area, plus the addition of the one that was sorting Johnson into this section. So we're going to close the gap on that guy if he's close enough like he was there. And you can see when I meleeed him, it actually turns him around due to the Sputnik skull. And then this guy was kind of...
Ow! Let me take a look at this.
Brace for impact.
Johnson, so we could easily go up behind him. It's a little random how you deal with these elites in this section because they always behave a little differently. So just kind of get close enough to them where you could kill them with a melee.
One of 300 geosync platforms. That Mac gun can put around...
Come on now! Is that a weapon or a flip? Oh!
And then we could start building a little fort, drag this soda can over so Johnson can't run backwards into the beginning of the mission, or towards the beginning of the mission. I keep saying soda cans, but I mean soda machines, these giant rectangular boxes, soda can vending machines. And we're just going to move these so they block the doorway here so Johnson can't move to previous sections. And then we can kind of shove Johnson forward. But before we do that, up here, Johnson, you'll notice, likes to stay behind boxes or barricades. You can see there's some barricades set up throughout this mission. One's right in front of him by this box here to my left, and he will just kind of set up behind one of those or post up on a crate. So that's just good to be aware of because you'll know how he's going to react more so if you know that he loves boxes and he loves those barricades. But you can see here now I am blocking these pathways with these boxes that I shoved down here, and if you want to fine-tune it, you want to smack it without the sword. If you want to have a little more power behind your melee, use the sword. So that's really why we have the sword, is to kind of have a little more power behind our melee so we could shove things around throughout this mission. So that includes Johnson. This is the 3rd box that we brought from up above, and we're going to push it towards this area and this pathway, but we're going to not entirely block the path because we want to kind of shove Johnson through. right afterwards like we did previously. So now that we're all set up, we're going to start slicing Johnson towards that path. And sometimes he likes to run back towards the beginning of the mission, like you can see. He tried to do there, but the doorway blocked him. He kind of tried to climb up on the vending machine there and hit his head on the door frame, fortunately. So he's trying to run back to the previous barricade. He likes to travel between barricades, like I was talking about earlier. He loves those barricades and those crates. So at this point, we could kind of just keep shoving this box into Johnson, which is probably not the best idea. We could be a lot more safe and conservative about this. And that was fine.
I can't stand it no more. Game on. Hey! I'm set. Smiling in there.
Box one more time. So it was totally blocked. Johnson was through. Now I'm just shoving him over here so he doesn't run past this box, and I can run back here real quick and fix that up. So we're looking good. I kind of broke the barrier for making these enemies spawn in, or I'm about to right now. So if I break this little plane here, if I go up on those stairs, that will get the enemies to spawn in. You don't necessarily have to go on those stairs. You can see this light gray line on the ground. If you break that barrier as well, if you break that plane, you'll spawn in the additional enemies. There's going to be 2 grunts and an elite on the right and 2 grunts and an elite on the left. But basically, before you spawn those guys in, you want Johnson to be out in the middle of the room in general, so the enemies are distracted by him. And you could climb up here if you would like and take out these grunts from up here with some headshots from the BR. And remember, there's 2 grunts on each side. On each side, so we'll have to take out 4 grunts, and once we do that, I will close the gap and take out these elites. As he becomes distracted by Johnson, which he's doing right here, you could tell he's kind of stuck in that animation because he's shooting 2 to 2.5 bursts of his plasma rifle, and then he points his gun up at the sky as it cools down. That means he's kind of stuck in the animation of firing at Johnson, so he can more easily and confidently kind of move up, wrap around behind him, and assassinate him. So we're going to do that right now. And I can't really see the elite visually. He's kind of obscured by the geometry over there, but I can hear that he's shooting his gun in 2 long bursts followed by a second shorter burst, and I know that that will get his gun to overheat because of the anger skull. So that is why I'm able to confidently just move up and just backsmack him real quick for the kill. And now I'm just going to start shoving Johnson into this doorway. We're going to try to block him in with one of the boxes. So the closest box to this area, I'm going to shove into this little hallway, this side hallway. This one right here, we're going to move this up. And you want to do this as quickly as you can because Johnson can wrap around and kind of start back towards this opening that we created. So you can see he's standing right there. I'm a little nervous that he's going to make a run for it. He's motioning like he wants to. We're going to try to box him in before he can run back towards the beginning of the mission. So just kind of keep slicing him as you need to if he, starts looking defiant. And now he's running back again. Where is he? There he is. Okay. So we got him. Nope. He is over on the left as well. So you always want that in the back of your mind where the elite is still kind of in hiding. So we got that in place to block that pathway, and this one looks good as well. So we're all set on the corralling Johnson front for now, at least. And we could see that the elite is now taking interest in Johnson, so that's good news. And you could see the plasma burst is 2 long bursts or 2 long bursts followed by a second short burst. And that is how you know that the plasma pistol, or the plasma rifle rather, is overheating, and he's doing that same thing that I was talking about. about where he's kind of fixated on Johnson firing, and then his gun overheats, so he has to stand there and wait for it to cool down. They don't move when their gun is cooling down, so he could wrap up around behind them and assassinate them. So various different ways that this might play out. Maybe he'll draw his sword and attack Johnson. There's no telling exactly what you're going to do to take out these elites each and every time, but I skipped ahead here a little bit because Johnson was not cooperating, so I kind of barricaded him in and then continued sorting him to the next section. Once you get to the bottom of the stairs here, you're good, and you want to stop meleeing him for a little bit because this is where you'll get a checkpoint if you're not meleeing or jumping. So just stand still for a little bit, and you'll get a checkpoint there after a couple seconds, and then we could continue sorting Johnson up the stairs into the...
Do I look like an 8-foot post? Clean your visor, jackass. Careful, not everyone has hands. Chief, you are supposed to set an example.
That this might play out. Maybe he'll draw his sword and attack Johnson. There's no telling exactly what you're going to do to take out these elites each and every time, but I skipped ahead here a little bit because Johnson was not cooperating, so I kind of barricaded him in and then continued sorting him to the next section.
All right, you just showed us how not. Getting rusty.
Got orders for Fort Pelican Bay.
Turn it back on.
Once you get to the bottom of the stairs here, you're good, and you want to stop meleeing him for a little bit because this is where you'll get a checkpoint if you're not meleeing or jumping. So just stand still for a little bit, and you'll get a checkpoint there after a couple seconds, and then we could continue sorting Johnson up the stairs into the next section where he will serve as another grand distraction for the elites. And as we sort Johnson, you can see there's a BR on the stairs, so you're going to grab the ammo from that as you walk over it, and you should have a full BR now as you walk